Watercolors Aquarium Gallery video brought to you from the Aquarium Rush Studios in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. So one of the things that we like to do here is surprise people. So
surprise, it's Splash!
Right. Oh, hi Splash. We're going to do today a surprise product review, and neither of these guys know what product we're going to do. So it gives us kind of that candid impression of what do you think of this product. So I'm actually going to pull the bag out here. I'm going to make Charles reach in and pull out the product.
It better be one we like, but knowing you.
Surprise! We're not doing a product review.
I get it.
This is a pretty decent line of Tupperware.
Yeah. It is, right. Yeah. We are going to talk about why it is you guys have a different feeling of wild-caught strains versus domestic strains. You guys both have a little different outlook on that. Particularly, I want to focus on bettas because it's a certain area of expertise where you guys both have some fairly particular opinions. But I want you guys to defend. Charles, I want you to take, this is why I like wild types better.
Okay.
And Amy, I want you to take, this is why I like domestic strains better.
Okay.
Even though you only kind of do. And I know you have you both have an appreciation for the other.
Yeah.
Right? But what is it, Charles, that makes a wild type to you special?
A lot of it, I think, just has to do with, I'm just really fascinated with how things speciate, and bettas are a really great like microcosm of like, wow, you put this almost like same exact organism in a slightly different habitat, and you get an entirely different thing out of it. And so there's just so much diversity in beauty and behaviors in just one genus, just because nature said, yeah, that's viable. And that's cool to me.
Right. And when keeping them, what do you see different? Like why, not just, okay, there's the positive for the wild type. What is one of the negatives of the captive strain? See, I'm going to make you say something bad here.
Yeah.
Right.
For me, the big thing is that for young fathers, there's always a learning curve, but overall, my experience with experienced wild-type fathers and experienced domestic-type fathers is the wild ones are way better dads.
All right, that's pretty cool.
Because, and that's, like, it's not me trying to diss on the domestic strain, but it is, for someone who likes breeding behaviors, a disadvantage for them because we have been selecting them for beauty, not behavior, which the wild very clearly skews towards good fathers.
Oh, sure. If they're not a good father, they're not going to pass on their beautiful traits.
Exactly.
It does seem like over many generations of domestic breeding, fish do tend to lose some of those instincts. But on the other hand, they also lose some of those instincts of being afraid of predators, wanting to hide most of the time, caring about having drab colors and blending into the background. So as we breed out some of those wild traits, we're also breeding in domesticated traits. Super friendly fish. A betta that's always going to come up to the front and greet you. A betta that is super colorful, super personable, outgoing, a little more aggressive. But a fish that's not afraid of anything.
That's some pretty good pros and cons. I'm not convinced either way yet, which, that's kind of what we expected that would happen here.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's worth mentioning with the domestic strain bettas, although they tend to not be as good of a father, they do tend to breed a little easier. Simply because we've done that over so many generations. We've taken the fish that are more likely to breed in captivity. And those are the ones that we keep passing on, which increases the likelihood, kind of evolves the domestic strains a little bit.
Yeah,
some of the breeding habits.
No domestic betta is going to wimp out over a couple of points on the pH scale.
Right.
Pretty much all male bettas will nest at some point if they're a domestic strain.
Yeah.
On the other hand, also I think worth mentioning is you talked a little bit about some of the aggression issues. If you come into the shop, sometimes you'll see some of the wild type bettas with a number of males in the same tank together. That aggression that they were referring to has a lot to do with the origination of betta splendens as a fighting fish, and so the aggression was built in.
Yeah, and I will fully admit that a little bit of that territoriality exists in nature, but
Sure.
that territoriality in nature exists in like little territories. So anything else, any male outside of that, they're kind of like, all right, well, he's over there. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
Although at this point it does seem to me that it's swinging a little more in the other direction again. Like, where not all of the male bettas we're getting now are hyper-aggressive. Our locally bred ones. We've gotten a group of males that was brought in together, and they're still together, and as adults they're just starting to pick at each other, and now we'll probably need to separate them. But being kept with other fish, I wouldn't even really consider much of a problem anymore. It's just between bettas. We've seen plenty of pairs come through.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting change the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just because they're not being bred for aggression anymore, they're being bred to be good pets, and they're being bred to be super colorful.
I like it. I like it. Well, that was good, guys. That was exactly what I was looking for from you two. You guys.
And
you guys
did I
well.
mention super colorful? Because, I mean, we hate to say we're ever improving on a wild fish, but the variety of colors that you can get out of bettas that are domestically bred is pretty much completely unmatched.
Yeah, you can get all sorts of crazy shapes and colors out of the wild types, but I will admit that the domestic strains definitely have that beat.
Now, if only we could breed a teeny tiny one.
That is true. The one thing that can't be understated, though, is that wild bettas can be stupidly gorgeous, though, just off the cuff. For me personally, Betta smerodina and Betta mahakiensis are perfect. Like,
Yeah.
you can't,
Yeah.
like, I can't think of a single thing that I would want someone to do to those to make them look better. Their finnage is perfect, their color is perfect. Like the male mahakiensis up here, he's got that amazing contrast between dark bands and the blue. It's, oh my goodness.
That bold blue is something that I don't know that I've seen a domestic betta with that blue.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the iridescence a lot of times comes with dragon scales.
True.
Well, a lot of that crazy iridescence in the domestic strains is actually produced by hybridizing with mahakiensis.
That makes sense, yeah. Yeah.
Well, personally, I'm looking forward to seeing where the domestic strains go in the future, too. Hopefully we can breed out some of those negative traits, breed in some more of the positive traits.
That's one of the fun things that comes from breeding fish for generation after generation. You can isolate different traits and accentuate them.
Yeah, and I will say this. I have a strong appreciation for hobbyist breeders and what they can produce from bettas. Like, the commercial strains just don't do it for me.
I get
But
that.
any hobbyist breeder messing with a strain to produce a specific result that whatever that hobbyist wants, I'm usually intrigued by that.
True.
So I'd like to see more people doing that.
Yeah.
There you go, Ben. Did we bicker enough to justify debating over something we mostly agree on?
Yeah, you guys pretty much covered it. That was good.
Alright, well, if you want to see more videos like this, or if there's another topic you'd love to see us try to argue about, make sure to subscribe to these videos, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and listen to the Watercolors Aquarium Gallery podcast wherever you listen.
And let's have lots of fun. Thanks for watching, and let's keep those hands wet.